Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I'm going to be reading a collection of short horror stories from the CREEPYPASTAS website. So, if you think it's something you might be into, make sure you stay tuned until the end and let me know your favourite one in the comments down below. But anyway, let's get on with some creepypasta horror stories. In 1984, there lived an old widowed lady by herself in a 2-story house who was completely immobile and bound to her wheelchair. Ever since the mysterious death of her husband, she required the aid of a carer who would visit her daily to help with her everyday tasks. What made it even more difficult was the fact that the 2 floors of the house were only connected by an old staircase inside. When the old lady needed to move between the 2, the carer would have to carry her frail body like an infant up and down the stairs. One day, the police received a call from the widow. There'd been a murder. Since police units were scarce at the time and the murderer had already fled the scene, only one detective was sent out to conduct the initial crime scene report. He arrived to see the carer's body splayed out on the floor with her vocal cords ripped out in the pool of blood on the first level of the house. With the old lady atop the stairs in her wheelchair watching him, still and silently, seemingly in shock, he could immediately rule her out as a suspect due to her inability to move up and down the stairs, and because she was trapped up there at the time of the murder. Because she was trapped up there the time the murder took place, it was similar to the death of her husband many years ago, who had suffocated in his sleep on the couch downstairs. The detective put on his gloves, took photos, swabbed for evidence, and covered the body until the coroner arrived later. All routine business. He scoped the house downstairs for any clues, then asked the old lady if he could look upstairs. She insisted that she was upstairs the whole time and no one apart from her had been up there that day. But regardless of this, the detective ascended a staircase to which she hesitantly moved aside. Beyond the staircase, there was a narrow corridor with 3 closed doors along it. He checked behind each of the doors. The empty bedroom, nothing. The bathroom, nothing. He became anxious as he slowly made his way to the final bedroom where the old lady slept. He opened it and everything looked normal. A bed, a wardrobe, and a bedside table with a lamp. He checked every wall of the room in horror, as it was not what he discovered, but it was what he didn't discover that made him stop dead in his tracks and slowly reach for his gun in his holster. It was the details so minor that they'd completely overlooked it on the last investigation of the husband's death.
There's no phone upstairs.
He suddenly heard a noise as he withdrew his gun and rushed out of the room, only to find an empty wheelchair atop the stairs. Halloween is by far my favourite time of the year. The one wonderful day where walking around with a mask on is socially acceptable. Masks hold quite a unique place in society. A mask can transform anyone into something else. Turn an actor into a character, hide the secret identity of a superhero, or even allow monsters to walk among men. You never know what's behind a mask until it's taken off, but that's the best part of Halloween. No one is going to take off anyone's mask. There is no gang of teenagers with their talking dog there to strip away my disguise and reveal the truth underneath. No, this is a reality, and on Halloween, I'm perfectly able to hide in plain sight. Of course, wearing a mask has its own special meaning for me. I'm not an actor, superhero, or even a monster. Well, not in the fictional terms at least. No, I simply use a mask as a means of entry. Any mask works really, so as long as it covers my face. I manage to use a different one every year. All I need to do is walk the streets of my suburban neighbourhood, weave my way through various decorations and dodge packs of trick-or-treaters until I hear the familiar blaring of loud music. Like a sailor to a siren at sea, I'm drawn to the music, to the party that it emanates from. Yes, this is why Halloween is wonderful. No one seems to ever ask questions at the door to a Halloween party. All I really need to do is knock and wave when the door opens. The mask makes people just assume I'm there for the party. Hell, sometimes people just leave their front doors wide open, allowing even easier access to their home. On Halloween, no one gives a second glance towards a masked man making his way through their midst, which is what makes my hobby oh so fun. They are completely oblivious as I approach their food. They continue to chatter and gossip as I add my own special ingredient to their bowl of punch. They continue to dance and play as I stab small, sharp needles into their chocolates and sweets. It's not until their first friend drops to the floor, either choking on my poison or coughing up bloody needles, that people start to panic. It's the same every year. As soon as I leave the party, I hear the chaos rising behind me. An unstoppable grin forms under my mask. Screams of terror, such a pleasant noise for such a pleasant holiday.
Look at it go, sweetie.
The loving father joyfully called out to his little girl, pointing upwards towards the kite flying high above the secluded beach.
Here, baby, you try.
The little girl stood there shy, timid, and melancholy as she stared skyward at the pale, flapping kite. This particular kite always reminded the girl of her missing mother. Each of them, the mother and the kite, seemed to share the exact same colourful tattoos. One afternoon, a couple travelling in their car noticed far in the distance a woman in the middle of the road waving frantically. The wife told her husband to keep on driving because it might be too dangerous, but the husband decided to pass by slowly so he wouldn't stay with the doubt on his mind of what might have happened and the chances of anyone being hurt. As they got closer, they noticed a woman with cuts and bruises on her face as well as on her arms. They then decided to stop and see if they could be of any help. The cut and bruised woman was begging for help, telling them that she'd been in a car accident and that her husband and son, a newborn baby, were still inside the car, which was in a deep ditch. She told them that her husband was already dead, but that her baby seemed to still be alive. The husband that was travelling decided to get down and try to rescue the baby, and he asked the hurt woman to stay with his wife inside of their car. When he got down, he noticed two people in the front seats of the car, but he didn't pay any importance to it and took out the baby quickly and got up to take the baby to its mother. When he got up, he didn't see the mother anywhere, so he asked his wife where she'd gone. She told him that the woman followed him back to the crashed car. When the husband went back to look for her, he noticed that clearly the couple in the front seats were dead, one of whom was unmistakably the woman who had flagged them down. Okay, so that is where I'm going to leave it for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give it a thumbs up and let me know your favourite story in the comments down below. Until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.